Some people have a pretty rough time when they start the carnivore diet. You see these stories on social media all the time. Or maybe they apply to you. People come into these social media forums asking for help because their hair has started to fall out, or they're tired all the time, or they're generally weaker than they were prior to carnivore. And they're outside the keto flu stage of transitioning into carnivore. Or maybe worse things happen to them than that. And it's hard for most people to offer help because for most of us, carnivore is the next best thing to a miracle cure for whatever ails us. Why? Because for most of us, carnivore has made our quality of life infinitely better. And it's odd that few of the major influencers really address these problems, besides telling you to eat more and to up your fat intake. For a lot of these problems, those won't help solve the problem. At the heart of what you're experiencing just might be a folate deficiency. I could go into the hard science about folate and what folate does for you, but that's not what I really do here. Let's just get to the nitty gritty and talk about where to get this essential part of your diet while staying true to the carnivore diet. Folate deficiency can lead to a whole host of problems, but for carnivores and those on near zero carb diets more broadly, folate deficiency can manifest itself in the following signs: weakness, fatigue, irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath, difficulty concentrating, hair loss, unusually pale skin, mouth sores, fun times. If they sound familiar to you, they should. In any carnivore social media group, you're going to see people posting about losing their hair. And usually people respond with telling people to eat more fat or up their electrolytes. Now, to be sure, those things usually help most common problems, but they're probably not going to do much for your hair loss or concentration issues or mouth sores. You need folate. So, where do you get it from? First, let's talk about a folate supplement, and then we'll talk about food. I'm not a supplement fan, generally speaking. I don't typically recommend them, but I know many of you do use supplements, so I'm just going to give you information and I'm not endorsing one way or another of doing this. Do what works for you. For supplementation, according to the Harvard School of Nutrition, supplementing folate actually works better than absorbing it from food. And yeah, I'm skeptical about that. I really am. But according to a study on their own website, quote, folate is a natural form of vitamin B9, water soluble and naturally found in many foods. It is also added to foods and sold as a supplement in the form of folic acid. This form is actually better absorbed than from food sources, 85% absorption versus 50% respectively. Folate helps to form DNA and RNA and is involved in protein metabolism. It plays a key role in breaking down homocysteine, an amino acid that can exert harmful effects in the body if it is present in high amounts. Folate is also needed to produce energy or healthy red blood cells and is critical during periods of rapid growth, such as during pregnancy and fetal development. End quote. So you see, it's pretty important there. But it's also pretty straightforward. There's a hard and fast rule among carnivores for avoiding supplementation. This might be the exception to the rule. Make your own decisions on that, though. Folate supplements can be gotten on Amazon from anywhere for about $7 to around $20. And most prenatal supplements have folate in them as well. At least most good prenatal supplements will. But what about food? Where do you get it in the food world? Most sources of folate come from plants, which is why most carnivores have a hard time getting adequate folate. But there are a few sources of folate from animal products that we should discuss. The first is not going to surprise you at all, and that's beef liver, which contains 215 micrograms of folate per 3 ounces serving, which is about 50% of your USDA daily intake. Now, remember what I've said about USDA guidelines in the past. The USDA assumes that you're consuming a lot of carbs every day, and most nutrients compete with glucose and fructose for absorption, which is why carnivores need lower amounts of key nutrients to thrive. Several studies suggest that folate might compete with glucose for absorption in the body, which is why so many people on regular diets that eat food with relatively high folate levels in it are still deficient. But if you're suffering from folate deficiency, and if you like beef liver, try that. That's again, if you like beef liver, which I don't. Everything beef liver's got a large amount of folate in it. Let's take a look here at duck liver. Duck liver has 324.7 micrograms of folate in it. You eat, and that's a 3 ounce serving. If you have 3 ounces of duck liver, you're going to get pretty much all the folate you need for a day. Now, again, remember what we say about USDA food recommendations, take them with a grain of salt. The USDA is, again, to repeat myself, assuming you're consuming a large amount of carbohydrates. And it is known that pretty much every conceivable nutrient and essential thing that your body wants competes with glucose, with sugar, for its absorption, which means, in plain language, that sugar undermines your body's ability to absorb the vital nutrients it needs. No different for folate either. But duck liver is a great source of folate if you can find it. Now, you might think you can't find it, but if you see a frozen duck at the grocery store, guess what? It's going to have the organs in there, just like you bought a turkey or a full chicken. So give the duck liver a try if you're brave. And that would also include duck pates, foie gras, and other things that are made from duck liver. Now, an alternative to liver is seafood. Dungeness crab has 36 micrograms of folate per 3 ounce serving. So if you eat a typically carnivore portion, you're going to be getting 100 or more micrograms of folate, and that might take care of the problem by itself. Shellfish will have between 20 and 50 micrograms of folate per 3 ounce serving otherwise, so look for clams or oysters or mussels or even shrimp. Those might help you take care of your folic acid problem by itself. You might not have to do it every day either. But the other one that anyone doing carnivore that isn't purely on the lion diet shouldn't object to are eggs. Eggs are the kings of folate, not because of their high levels of folate, but because carnivores tend to eat a lot of eggs. One egg is 22 micrograms of folate. If you're eating several eggs each day, then you're probably okay on the folic acid front. And if you're doing the combination of eggs and shellfish and or liver, you're probably doing okay. Again, I don't advocate organs daily, but some people need them. But eggs are something nearly every carnivore is fine with. If you're doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, get enough eggs, and this probably won't be a problem anymore. I've seen some carnivore nutritionists recommend up to 10 eggs a day to meet the folate needs, though they often cite USDA standards for that. Remember, the USDA standards may not apply to us due to our avoiding carbs. But I'm curious if you know of other 100% carnivore foods that have high levels of folate. How many eggs are you eating a day to meet your folic needs? And I'm talking about plants here, though. Those aren't carnivore, no beans or fruit or whatnot, just meat, dairy, eggs, that kind of thing. Are you experiencing a folate deficiency in your own life? I'm very curious about that. Let me know in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. That really does help. As sharing these messages on social media, that helps a lot too. And thanks for watching today.